Man parades around St. Louis with the Stanley Cup. I'll have more details on this upcoming story here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor-Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today on Locked On Blues, I'm going to talk about Matthew Tkachuk and how he's been chucky with the cuppy, taking it all around here in St. Louis. Some interesting statistics that I did see today, and my confidence level of the Blues' offense. I know I've been spending a tremendous amount of time on the Blues' defensive core, especially after the news of Torrey Krug. But I do want to take some time and share some attention to the offense because that is just as important to this team being successful in this upcoming season. Before I begin today's episode, I want to let you know that today we're brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more as playoffs wind down. The sports stop sporting the way that we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I hope everybody is having a great Thursday, July 18th. We are now in the midway point of July, which is insane how fast the summer is going by. But there is one guy in particular that is enjoying his summer days, a guy that most recently won the Stanley Cup with the Florida Panthers, but is a St. Louis native and is actually one of the sons to one of the greats who wore the blue note. Yes, I am talking about Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk just won the Stanley Cup with the Florida Panthers, and he has been going around and about with Lord Stanley, well, the cup at least, with him everywhere he goes. So there is no doubt about it that when you win the Stanley Cup, you're going to take the Stanley Cup with you, even at random places like the ocean, which he did do, by the way. Like Matthew Tkachuk fully jumped into the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, with the Stanley Cup, which I have mixed thoughts on that one. I'm happy about it. I think that's a pretty cool thing to do. But I'm also like, Matthew, please do not damage the cup. I am sure that the cup is in pristine condition. But I'm going to talk to you about what Matthew Tkachuk did today when he was reunited with the Stanley Cup. So Matthew Tkachuk woke up in his bed with the Stanley Cup laying next to him, which honestly is such a big mood. If I had the Stanley Cup, I don't think I would let that thing go, and I would take full advantage of my time with the cup. So Matthew Tkachuk, oh man, I can't believe that this all happened. So he took the Stanley Cup to a local Italian eatery called Grassi's Ristorante to kick off the day in Missouri, which is actually located in St. Louis. And even the Instagram account of the restaurant of Grassi's talked about it. And he got like a sub, a salad, and the Stanley Cup was literally sitting in the seat next to him. And Matthew Tkachuk was like pretending to feed the cup. I feel like this was a very wholesome situation for Matthew Tkachuk. It's not very often where you see a grown man feeding an inanimate object, but for me, it felt wholesome. Like he wanted to take it there. Obviously, he likes the place, and it's harmless, right? There's nothing bad about that. After lunch, though, however, Matthew Tkachuk kept everything going. He basically hung out with his family, with Keith Tkachuk, his sister Taryn Tkachuk, and Brady Tkachuk was there as well, but he did not touch the cup. And Taryn actually did drink out of the cup, by the way. So the Tkachuk family, honestly, has just been celebrating. Matthew Tkachuk then went to his old elementary school in St. Louis called, oh my gosh, I'm going to mispronounce this, Villa Duchesnay. That sounds even dirty. I know Jason Tatum went there, but it was really cool to see him at the school. And I'm going to read you actually the caption of what the school said about Matthew Tkachuk. Once a saint, always a saint. We were treated to the best surprise today when the Florida Panther forward and Stanley Cup champion, Matthew Tkachuk, class of 09, stopped at Villa with the Stanley Cup. Like true children of Sacred Heart, Matthew, Brady, and Taryn brought so much joy to our passport campers and Villa team. Our campers will always remember this experience. Villa is your home, and we're so grateful that you made us a part of your incredible day. Thank you to the entire Tkachuk family for this memory and our community. It was magical. So, really cool for the Tkachuks. And obviously, as I said, Brady was there, and they took a picture in front of the steps. Now, Brady was getting seamlessly a little bit closer to the cup than he did when Matthew initially won it, but I know Brady is not going to touch that. So I thought that was funny. Matthew Tkachuk is having the best day of his life. So today is actually, I lied. Today's when he woke up with the cup. Also today, Matthew Tkachuk took the Stanley Cup to meet patients at the St. Louis Children's Hospital. And he even took pictures with the patients lifting up the cup. And it was a really wholesome thing to see. Matthew Tkachuk is such a good guy. So it was awesome. Matthew Tkachuk also hung out with Travis Kelce, and he commented on the photo saying that they're both champs. So that is Matthew Tkachuk's day with the Stanley Cup the past couple days. My biggest takeaway from this is one thing. He did a lot of good by going back to his old school and going to the children's hospital. I think that when you have the Stanley Cup for as limited of a time as you do, to really think about your community here in St. Louis is something special. I love the fact that his family was super involved with him, spending time with the cup. The thing about the Tkachuk family is they're just such a good family. And I know before I talked about wanting Brady Tkachuk to be on the Blues, and I still do, Brady. But realistically, I know that's not going to happen. Maybe one day, you never know what could happen. I feel like both of those guys would be thrilled to be able to wear a balloon at like their father and rep the team that they loved growing up. But will it actually happen? I don't know. What I do know is this is that Matthew Tkachuk is so proud to be a St. Louisan. Hold on. A St. Louisan. It sounds so wrong in my head. Usually I just say Missourian, but I guess it's the same type of thing in a way, not really, but he truly does love being from our city and his city, actually. Like, let's be real, like Chuck grew up here. I mean, the love that he has for St. Louis is truly something so incredibly awesome. And I think for me, it just means a lot. Matthew Tkachuk also said, all my roots are brought up from St. Louis, and he really just wanted to be back in his hometown. And Corey Miller posted a great video. It was so cool to see. I don't think there's many athletes. And correct me if I'm wrong. I know Tatum showed some respect towards St. Louis, but there's not that many athletes that truly, go back to the place that they're from. They usually kind of stay where they ended up winning and things like that. But Tkachuk, I mean, I love that he comes back to St. Louis. I love it so, so, so much. Florida is a fun state. I'm going to be so for real with you. Florida is a very fun state. You can have a lot of fun in the Sunshine State. You got the beaches, you got, bars and clubs. You have the whole entire, basically, entertainment of life all in one state. However, I love that Matthew Tkachuk comes back home to St. Louis. I mean, his roots are here in St. Louis. And I think that besides him winning the cup, this is the first time in the Tkachuk family that there has been a Stanley Cup champion. And I think that he's able to share that with Keith, their mom, his sister Taryn, with Brady, his fiance. Like, there's so many people that he wants to share it with, but his core family with his parents and sister and brother are in St. Louis. I mean, I know Brady, Ottawa Senator, but Brady is not in Ottawa. So he is the senator, and that is true, but he's back in St. Louis. But the Keith Tkachuk, I'm so used to saying Tkachuk and just being about Keith, so I have to preference. Keith Tkachuk, because of what he does with the Blues, has to be in St. Louis. And I think that this was a perfect celebration. He really gave back to the city today. He made a lot of kids' days today and yesterday. And I think overall, he's putting us on the map again. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much to do here in St. Louis, and I feel like sometimes it gets a little overshadowed because people are like, oh, it's the Midwest. But Matthew Tkachuk is something really, he's someone special. And I hope him or Brady one day is able to wear the blue note. I know that when we had our All-Star game we hosted, I believe it was Matthew who had on something with the Cardinals, I want to say, or he had a blue note. He had something. So they're always repping, which is awesome. But I can't imagine what that's like too. Growing up a fan of a team, your father was on a team, playing for a completely different team, um, in both of their careers, really. Like, I feel like they might have an itch to wear the blue note. And is that so wrong for me to assume? Now, I know that today's episode is not about, oh, is Matthew or Brady Tkachuk coming to the Blues? I know that's not happening. But I'm just saying that it would be super symbolic, super full circle to see at least one of the boys, and I think it would be Brady more so than Matthew, come to the Enterprise wearing the blue note, so we'll see. But Matthew Tkachuk, I hope you had a great couple of days with the Lord Stanley, and thank you for doing the city good. Time to tell you about my friends over at Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is the matching and hiring platform with over 350 million monthly visitors. According to Indeed data, a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work, use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster, 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches to compare to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. One thing I love about Indeed is that it is leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day. Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your job more visibility at Indeed.com/locked on. Just go to Indeed.com/locked on right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on Locked On Blues. Indeed.com/locked on. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hire? You need Indeed. Indeed, you do. I will be talking to you about an interesting statistic that I saw today. It was kind of really okay. I had to tell you, sometimes I'm like, does the NHL know when I'm talking about a certain player around the Blues? Because today something happened. The NHL posted a tweet and said, watch out for these guys when they're in their spots. Where multiple players are tied, the player pictured has the highest shooting percentage from that region. So basically, what it is that they have different regions. I don't think I can show you on here. But at 11, and the best way to describe it, honestly, Jordan Kyrou is on this list. Ruzi is on the list. So he's at 11. I can't show you. I don't get taken out for copyright, anything like that. But essentially, where he's at right now in the region, it's kind of like in the middle. So, like the good sniper position. Um, I am, impressed deeply. I did not think that he was going to be one of the top NHL players in that region. And I think that is something that's really cool and really interesting. And I know I can't show you the actual graphic, but the way that it describes you is this. You have a lot of big name guys on that list. And for instance, you have, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, you have let's go see Nylander, Stamkos, Pasta, Hobart, Suzuki, Hyman. So you have a lot of good guys that are on that list. Jordan Kyrou is one of them. So what that is telling me is that he is doing something right. I think sometimes we're a little bit too hard on Jordan Kyrou, which I have talked about greatly, extensively even on this podcast. I do believe that on a list where you have all these names I just shared with you, and he is a top leading NHL player in that one region, which is a big region, by the way, to shoot at, that he clearly has this talent. When you have a list that's conducted of teams that mostly enter the playoffs and you have a guy from the Blues, it just gives me so much hope and excitement about the future. Honestly, like, I know that I might sound a little cuckoo banana sometimes when I'm speaking and saying, yeah, well, the Blues are not that bad. They're really not that bad of a team. What it is that the Blues just need some more foundation pieces to accelerate them. But I believe that Jordan Kyrou is a great example of a player that has been growing and has been following this system here in St. Louis. He has a good shot. Take all the other things away, he has a solid shot. I know that he may not be the most likable player. He may not be the most, fan favorite, you might say, but his shot is heavy, it's accurate, and it's good when he is set up and in the zone. The problem with the Blues is last season that I noticed, even though they were taking more chances shooting wise, it just seemed to be a little bit hesitant still. But I mean, clearly he has good aim. That is just such an incredible thing that I saw today. I really couldn't believe it. I'm like, do the NHL admins know that I just talked about Jordan Kyrou and how I have these high expectations for him for this upcoming season? I think that sometimes life is just so weird. Like the other day when I put out that Twitter poll at Locked On Blues, when I said, do we need to talk about Kyrou or Krug? And then a couple hours later, it was announced that Krug might miss this upcoming season due to the ankle injury. So this is my cat Stella. If you're watching on YouTube, she is a mama's girl and she wants attention. But it's a very interesting statistic that I saw, and I wanted to share that with you because I think so many times when we're talking about players like Jordan Kyrou, we're really easy to dismiss him, right? And we're like, oh yeah, that's just Kyrou, he's not the best. But I mean, clearly his shooting is one of the best, especially from that region. So maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into it. I personally was really excited. And I just was like, wait, this is so, so, so cool. Somebody even questioned, said, how many did Reinhardt have from Kyrou's spot? People are now questioning that Jordan Kyrou had the most. But I am telling you right now, go back and watch tapes of Kyrou this season. He was accurate and spot on from that region. I can't show you the graphic. I really, really, really wish I could. But congratulations, Jordan Kyrou, because that is an accomplishment. I also want to mention, it's summer when the Blues are putting out content of players like a Robert Thomas and a Nathan Walker reading each other's lips. It was like this whole video was like coast to coast and they had to guess what they were saying. But that is like so summer coded to me. You know what I mean? It's not a negative thing. It's just like we're in the part of the season time. Oh, the sun is setting now. But we're in that section of life where there's really not much going on. And you're going to see little things like that. But I mean, their personalities honestly just put a smile on my face because I'm like, I just really miss it. I miss hockey. I know I talk about this on a daily basis. I do this podcast every day. So I think I just miss having like hockey. I love my predictions. I just miss hockey and watching the game every night. Usually when I was done filming Locked On Blues, I would be able to go and watch the games. And I don't get that. I get Cardinals, go Cards, but I don't get Blues hockey. And it's something that I need so desperately. That's why during player development camp, I was getting a lot of enjoyment out of that because at least I got to see our prospects play. Oh man, like no one tells you how rough summer is when your team doesn't make it to the playoffs because it makes it really, really rough in the summertime. But it is what it is, and soon enough we will have hockey back, I promise you. But you know what we do have? We have FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much, and I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sporting the way I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a booster or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. The St. Louis Cardinals are still in hiatus with their All-Star break, but don't worry because tomorrow night they are at Atlanta taking on the Braves, which you can probably watch around 6:20. I'm a little nervous for the series, but I would say this. I always just do money line. I don't do anything else because I usually lose money that way. But FanDuel has so many props and so many ways to use the app. So check out FanDuel ahead of tomorrow's game against those Atlanta Braves. My confidence level with the Blues' offense. Would it be wrong of me to say that I'm not feeling unconfident, but I'm not feeling confident? I'll explain to you. Last season, the Blues' offense, listen, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst, okay? It was very in the middle for me, and I know what you're going to say. Hale, who on the Blues made you feel good? Well, obviously, Robert Thomas, Jake Neighbors, and you know what? Even my boy Jordan Kyrou. But now we need to talk about the Blues' offense this season and what we have. And don't worry, I will be breaking down all of these players, but this is an overview. We have Alexandrov, Fox. I always mess up. See, it's so hard to say his name. Foxa, a million times. Foxa. Okay. Ruzi, Shen, Sunquist, Texture. Oh my God, it's always these like names. Always. Robert Thomas, Pavel. See, people make fun of how I say Pavel Buchnevich. I can't help it. Jake Neighbors, Brandon Saad, Nathan Walker, Joseph Kapanen, Torchenko. And honestly, this is a playoff roster. I feel so confident with how the Blues are going to be offensively. It's the defense that concerns me. This is a pretty good roster right now. I mean, I'm not complaining whatsoever, and I think that it's only going to improve. Now, I'm not looking at this and saying, oh, yeah, Sonny makes it so good. I hope he's okay, by the way, because with an injury last season. But again, like this roster just looks so good to me. And we also have potentially, Dvorsky, my boy, Dvorsky. You never know if he's going to be in it. So I'm just saying that this roster looks to me like a contending team's roster. And that is a very exciting thing to think about. What is your confidence level like with this roster? I want you to tell me by leaving a comment on this video and saying, hey, I think this roster makes me feel confident. This does not make me feel confident. And if it doesn't, explain to me why. And if it does, tell me why. I want nothing but good vibes because tomorrow is an Are We Feeling Blue Friday. I cannot believe the week is already basically done, which is insane. But a lot going on this week in this off season. So generically busy. And tomorrow I will have a special video of one of the players. So I will talk to you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.